Today I thought I'd have a little break from lamps that I normally put up, although you will see a lamp in this little video. I thought what I'd do is show you a piece of equipment which I picked up some time ago. In fact, I got two of them, so it was easy to actually show you one and the other one which is being used. I think I obtained both of these from boot sales. It's amazing what you find at boot sales. One of them was just slung in a box with electrical plugs and sockets. So of course I picked it up and looked stupid and said, "Oh, what's that funny thing? Oh, how much is it?" And the bloke probably turned around and said, "Oh, give us 50p or £1 for it." So of course I knew exactly what it was, and I got it for the kind of price that I don't mind. Anyhow, let's tell you about it. I might have put this up before in the past, I can't remember. But I was prompted to tell you about this because I was looking at a video last night that the get his name right now, the Neon Young, he was showing some lamps being used, and he had a similar device to this. I couldn't make out exactly what it was, but it was probably like this, but it was a different shape. So it prompted me to put this on. And also, as you know, I've made it a bit easier here. I've got like a little testing station. I know it's on top of a fridge, and you probably hear that fridge when it switches on and off. It can't be helped. That's what you've got. And also a testing lamp which I will put on the Variac, but before then I'll show you or explain what can be done with these devices. There's what it looks like. It's needless to say made in China. This one was bought, I believe, in a shop called Maplin's, where it's actually written on there, but that's where they came from. They were Maplin's, indicated by that little M that you can see on the box. That little M there is Maplin's. Unfortunately, Maplin's are no more. They've gone bust. In some ways I'm not surprised, because a lot of the stuff they had, when they started off, they were really good. Electrical components, you could buy resistors, capacitors, and all the things you would need in the way of components. But then they tended to change over, and they had a load of what I consider junky type toys. So that's what happens. Yeah, it's a great pity, but it's the way things go. We used to have a store in England called Tandy, and they went the same way. Great pity. But anyhow, I'm wafting off the subject. There's the box which tells you it's a plug-in mains and an energy monitor. Well, I suppose it is to a certain degree. Made in China, as I've stated. Let's have a close look at the actual device. There's what we've got, and there's what the buttons show. Obviously, if you press the first button, it indicates the voltage out of the plug and coming into this. If you've got a load on there, you press up the amp, and that will give you a reading of the current. Remember, amps can only be read in like a circuit. Volts, no, they are the potential difference between two conductors, either you're live or neutral, or live and earth. But current is read with the current going through a device, be it a bulb or an electric fire, you name it, it's got to go through it. Next you've got the actual wattage, or VA, which is the same thing, volts times amps, that gives you the watts, and that will give an indication of what the wattage is of the appliance. being a lamp or, let's say, an electric fire. Next we've got hertz. That's the frequency, obviously, of the mains. In this country and the rest of Europe it's 50. In America it's 60. In Japan it can be either 60 or 50 depending where you live. Finally you've got kilowatt hour. Such. Anyhow, let's have a little look and give you a demonstration. Let's plug in power unit and monitor. Not making this too long. I'll turn the light round so it shows it up. Now at the moment that power board there is being fed off of this. So if I was to turn the light off, I don't know if you can still see it. No, you can't. So I'll leave that on. It's using at the moment 32 watts. I think that's watts at the moment, yeah. We'll go through them. Let's have, now we press up the volts and we show 238 volts. Yesterday it was showing 240.4 volts, so it does vary a bit. It just depends on the actual load. At the moment it's winter time, people have got their electric fires on, electric water heaters, etc. So there's probably a draw on the current, or the voltage rather. So at the moment so it's 238.7. Pretty accurate, I would say. Now amps, let's press up the amps. Now remember we have got a lamp in circuit, so it should give a reading. There we are, there's that lamp and we're getting a reading. That's just this bright lamp. I haven't turned the other one on yet, and will do later. So put it back on there so you can see it. Watts, press up the watts. We're showing 31 watts, which I would say is about right. This is transformer light with a 21 watt bulb in it. It's at 12 volts. Well, obviously you're going to get some loss, hysteresis losses from the transformer. So I would say that is not too bad. 32 watts. We show the hertz, the frequency. This should read 50. At the moment it's showing 49.9. Now the frequency is obviously quite important. If you've got a synchronous clock which relies on the frequency, if the frequency alters then the clock will alter. But what a lot of these companies do is to, if the frequency's gone out, they try to make up for it, so you haven't got to keep changing your clock. They'll make up for it. I've never known it to go off, so it's pretty constant. Now this frequency also affects things like transformers. If you've got a transformer, say from a Korea, which is on 60 cycles, it's our voltage, and just by chance it happened to be a microwave transformer, as was one of mine. I picked a microwave up from a boot cell. It was a lovely job, but it was made in Korea. It had on it 240 volts. I thought, oh, I can use that. But what I missed out was the fact it was 60 cycles, and the transformer was in fact smaller than transformers used on 240 on 50 cycles. So it ended up the transformer tended to get over hot, so I had to change the transformer, put an English one in, or one that was made for the English market. And that microwave served me for many years. It was a beautiful job. Anyhow, I waffed off the subject. That was the frequency, so it should read, as I say, 50. Well, it's nigh on 50, it's 49.8. We took it up to the nearest number, it would be 50 kilowatt hour is 0.9. Now, if I was to turn the variac on to light up that beautiful lamp there, it's a carbon filament, as you can see, and probably giving off quite a bit of heat. It is quite a nice lamp actually. I don't know the maker. I think it could be East German, but I'm not 100% certain. I know Alex has taken a look at it, and he was not too sure, I think. So, you know, if I'm wrong there, Alex, you'll correct me. But it's got a clear, the vitrite part of the cap is actually clear. So anyhow, they're only using this really to demonstrate the device. I don't know whether that's actually altered. I can't remember what it was when it started off. No, that part is not altering. It's the kilowatt hours that's taken over a period of time. So we'll leave that. The hertz will obviously be the same. The wattage, just put that one up. There's the wattage, 53 watts. Now, the watts obviously changes with the voltage. Now that lamp that I've got is our mains voltage, well actually 220, so I'm not going to push it up too high. I'm going to leave it at that. And we're showing 93 watts, so it's possibly a 100 watt lamp. I mention this because there is a reason. The amps, there's the amperage, 0.32, and obviously you can work out from the amperage and the watt and the voltage, you get VA, volts, amps, and that'll give you the watts. No point in turning on the volts because that will be the same. It's varying a bit, but there's the voltage. Now the reason I say this, we got a projector lamp the other day through the post. It was one that Alec ordered, but the etch has been, well, one part of the etch has been rubbed away, and you could see the voltage but not the actual wattage. So you could in fact use this little device, which I'm not going to, the bulb's not mine, it belongs to Alec, but you could in theory light the bulb up on, obviously now the full voltage, which I believe was 240, and that would give an indication of what the wattage was or is. We both think it might be 500, but we'll have to wait and see. I have got another one of these, as I say. I picked up 2 of these, and one will be on its way to France, hopefully when it's picked up in a few weeks' time by Alex, will be coming over. So there we are. They got all that. They obviously have to change, well, not change it, but you can get adapters that you could change that to the German Schuko. That's quite an easy job. You just buy an adapter, and that would plug in to that and then go into the German Schuko plug, and likewise you can put the reverse type in there, so it comes to 13 amp pins but would end up with a Schuko socket. So you'd have no problem. Anyhow, I've been talking too long. I'm going to put this up on YouTube. Any comments please make. As I say, these devices I'm pretty sure are sold around the world, so the American version would obviously be for 110 volts, but they are available over there, so I find they're a good way of verifying certain things, particularly the wattage. If you don't know the wattage, you can find out. It's not difficult. It's certainly not difficult with this. So as I say, someone said I could speak for the country, meaning I don't know when to shut up, so I will now. And any comments please make. If you want to know anything about it, I'll try and explain it. But anyhow, thanks again, leaving you on that beautiful view of that lamp. That, I would say, is a cracker. It would have been a heat lamp. It's giving out a bit of heat. It's not enormously powerful, but as you can see, it's about 100 watts, so it's just nice. I'm about to turn it off. So once again, thanks again for watching. Any questions, get back to me, or anyone who could answer them. If Alex is there, he can probably answer them as well. So you've got two people definitely who will probably help out, and anyone else that knows about it. Anyhow, thanks again for watching, and I don't know what I'm going to put up next. It all depends. I'm feeling quite a good mood today because I mentioned yesterday about waiting with forms for my passport. Well, those forms I took to the post office, and lo and behold, they accepted them. So it looks like I might get my passport in a few weeks' time, hopefully. So that was good. So I was in a good mood, and that's why, well, not rather, had it have gone the other way, I had to have got it signed and messed about with, I'd have been in anything in a good mood. I'd have been in a bad mood, but no, it was yesterday was good. Anyhow, I'm going now. Thanks a lot. Thank you.